December 17, 2014. How can I forget that day? The day when the greatest miracle of my life happened. I was at my lowest point, very confused about what to do next. It was on that day that I finally decided to quit my job and pursue my love for writing. For a breadwinner and having to support my younger sister's college education, it was a tough decision. So I went to the Adoration Chapel to seek refuge, to plead God for answers. Reading my prayer journal, I recalled God's faithfulness in my life for the past years. And so I uttered a bold prayer. Lord, I believe you called me to be a writer. Please give me a writing mentor.
But when I walked into that Adoration Chapel and I knelt down to pray, and I was praying for a little while, and then I just happened to look over my shoulder. Whoa, she's beautiful. So God put that attraction in my heart when I spotted this beautiful Filipino, and I kept on like stealing glances at her. Guys, you know what that's like. And there was like the desire was in my heart to get to know her, and so I waited, and yes guys, I waited, and then I went and paid respects. I saw her in her journal, looking in her journal, and she was still absorbed in what she was doing, and that also touched my heart, because it's really beautiful when you see a woman in prayer. And then I went, paid my respects to the Blessed Sacrament.
My eyes were closed while I was praying for a writing mentor, and when I opened my eyes, I saw a man in front of the Holy Eucharist, and in my heart, I heard God's voice telling me, He is the one. I was like, God, do you mean the one as in my one true love, or the one as my writing mentor? My heart was racing.
Came back to the back of the chapel, and then I waited. And yes guys, I waited even longer. And then I pulled out a calling card, and we call that a business card in New Zealand, and I wrote, "Hi, I'm a Catholic author and missionary from New Zealand." And I put down my phone number, my Facebook, and my email address, just to make sure she would be able to get a hold of me.
I really felt so loved by God, and that He is so amazing, because can you imagine it? Like right after I uttered the prayer, give me a mentor, and I saw that person. And the amazing part is He approached me and He gave me a calling card. When I flipped the calling card, I was just crying. I couldn't stop my tears because it said on the card, I'm a Catholic missionary and author from New Zealand. So, oh my gosh, I prayed for a mentor, and he is an author. So, I just really felt in my heart that it was a perfect answer to my prayer.
I received this text from Ali, and it was inviting me to breakfast. And we chatted like long lost friends. It was so amazing. We actually chatted for 2 hours, and the time just flew by, and we had so much in common. Obviously we really love the Lord together, we share the Catholic faith and our passion for writing. And then she asked me something that really surprised me. She asked me to be her writing mentor. I'm like, I've never been someone, inside I'm thinking, I've never been someone's writing mentor. So it was very honoured, but also I felt kind of challenged doing so, but it was so much God.
I told him I felt the calling to write a book for women, because a lot of women are asking me how to handle a broken heart, how to know if a man really loves me. Like, they have a lot of questions. So I was like thinking it would be great to write a book for women to inspire them and for them to have a godly relationship. So I told Brendan about it. I said, I really felt the calling to write a book for women, and this will be about love, finding love God's way, worth the chase, that women are really worth the chase, that they deserve the best man for them. And then God suddenly told me it shouldn't be just for women. It should be both for men and women. So I asked Brendan, can you write the part for men? So that was the reason why we have Worth the Chase, Finding Love God's Way now, and Worth Chasing, Pursuing Love God's Way.
We actually developed a very close bond as friends very quickly, and I felt especially besties very quickly, which was really surprising but also really heartwarming at the same time. We began running together.
And after running, we would open the Bible, we would share about the gospel and how it relates to our lives, and also we would go to mass together every afternoon. We would go to the adoration. So the friendship really is based on God's love. It is really God who is the foundation of our friendship. So there was this instance when I was so brokenhearted because I dated a guy and then suddenly it was gone. I mean, I didn't know what happened. It was a relationship with no label. I was so hurt. It was so painful. So I ran to Greenfields and I texted Brendan. I said, rescue me or comfort me. I needed comfort. I was crying on his shoulder, and then he was wiping my tears with his shirt. So he just let me cry, and he just told me that I deserve someone better. And it was so funny because he didn't know that it was him, the someone better.
Brother suddenly dying as a result of an aneurysm, and when Ali was comforting me, she interlocked my hands with hers as if we were like boyfriend, girlfriend, which was like intimate and comforting at the same time. Because I felt a time when we could have kissed during that comforting, but at the same time I knew it was the wrong time. You don't like kiss someone or make a move during over a time of grieving.
He texted me, I could still remember the exact words, in bold letters, I need you right now. In his text, he sounded like desperate for someone to listen to him. So sad. And so I asked him what happened. And then he told me that his older brother died. So it was the first time that I saw him cry. And it really broke my heart to see him like that, because I've always known him as a guy with a great sense of humor. Like, he would always make me laugh. And at that time, he just looked so sad. And in that moment, we had this special attraction, even if we keep on telling ourselves that this is just friendship. He had to book his plane ticket because he had to be there, of course, at his brother's funeral. It's like a dream that has shattered, because I knew that he was the answer to my prayer and he had to go back. But that my dream has ended on that night. So, but I didn't know it was more. It's not just about the dream, but it was more of feeling of losing him, losing the person that has been very important for me and who has been very present in my life.
When we were saying goodbye to each other, I was even saying I don't think I'm ever going to see you again, and I believe God will bring someone else into my life. And when our heads were resting together, it was electricity started, and because it was for a long time we're just resting our heads against each other, our foreheads, and then suddenly electricity started happening, and it just got stronger and stronger. And in my heart or mind, I knew I could pull away and it would lessen, and yet part of me didn't want to.
The setting was so romantic because the moon was so bright. It was full moon at that time, and then the nearby bar was playing a romantic song, and it was dark, and then we could just see the stars, the lights.
And I could just feel her head move, and then her lips come to mine, and then that was it. It was like that threshold of friendship, besties, had been crossed.
Felt respected, I felt loved. There was no lost in that kiss.
It was beautiful, it was loving, it was amazing. When I met Ellie, she was very into purity, and it was so refreshing, and it's exactly what I needed. And I know God was laughing in heaven, because He's been writing our love story, and He's been teaching both of us to seek Him first and to love His way. So it's amazing, because as we wrote Worth the Chase, we lived it. We just kept on growing in love over that time, with ups and downs as like any relationship. And then I came back to the Philippines in October on my birthday. It was on November the 20th in the feast. It was Ali's community, and this is where she's seen other proposals, and as a woman be like, I wish that was me. And so I knew she would love it, right? I knew it would be the ideal place. And it was incredible, because we had to I had to get permission, and I only got permission that day. The night before, we had another stupid fight. And we've probably both forgotten exactly what it's over now. And so of all times, have a fight the night before the guy is going to propose. Ugh. And so we met for the feast, and I even got collaborators to buy the flowers. But can you believe it? The escalator not only broke down but went into smoke. Flowers were delayed, and I'd done a PowerPoint and I even tricked that she thought that the proposal was going to be for her best woman friend. And I even had a slide saying in love or something, with that person's face on the slide as the first slide. So she was totally fooled. I was so embarrassed and surprised, because she never expected it. Gorgeous! Super compassionate heart. This is a lady that, when I saw her loving a disabled woman, it just broke my heart. It was like, wow, so thoughtful and sweet. Ellie Roberts, you do the honor of marrying me, spending the rest of your life with me.
Let's not say more fake.
And thank you for loving me. Thank you for bringing joy to my life. Thank you for changing my life. And thank you for being my destiny. Because no matter what, you are God's great, gorgeous gift to my life. No matter what, Ellie, which finger is it? Is it that one? That one. Okay, see, I'm an amateur here. So, we have the most amazing love story because of God. That we met in an adoration chapel. That we became best friends first. And that it was over the death of my brother that we actually fell in love. And that really shows that God is the author of our love. So, I love you and will love you forever.
On the 21st of April 2016, we got married at the same church where we first met. They say, love comes when you least expect it. I say, love comes when we surrender our life to the true source of love, to the author of life himself. God is love. We love because God first loved us. Marriage is not just a union of two hearts, but a union of two imperfect people, perfectly loved by a perfect God. Marriage should be a reflection of Christ's love for us. It is beautiful yet challenging beyond words, because love is sacrifice. The cross that comes in marriage is not a roadblock on the way to true joy, but a ladder to climb to the very heaven of love itself. When we intensify our love for God and look at our spouse as a precious gift from God, then love can last a lifetime. Love is a gift from God. The human heart is made for the infinite, and only in the infinite can satisfy it. It is only by working hand in hand toward heaven will two lovers discover the infinite, the living God whose love for us is eternal.